keep you on your toes well enough. Before I begin my speech and bore you to death, let me ask you a question. Show of hands. How many of you know where Iran is? If I gave you a map, how many of you could show me Iran? Come on, raise your hands. If you can do it, raise your hands. Don't be shy. Not bad, not bad. And how many of you can actually show me the Middle East? So you can show me Iran, but you can't show me the Middle East? Interesting. And how many of you have ever heard of Iran? Interesting. So almost all of you have heard of Iran, but less than half of you could actually show Iran on a map. So you've never actually found Iran curious enough, right? Well, that's going to change today. Today, I am going to show you that this country, which most of you cannot show me on the map, is actually a very, very exciting country and quite interesting, which is worth visiting someday. And I believe you can, contrary to common belief. Before I begin, I have been in Taiwan for the past 10 months or so. And my stay here, although almost nice, was not always as pleasant as I expected. And I sometimes experienced stuff that I did not expect to experience. For instance, I have been refused services in banks because I am from Iran. They actually told me, we cannot offer you any services because you are from a country that is sanctioned. I was walked away from by some people. They actually changed their course of their direction because they thought I am an Arab. They thought I am dangerous because I am from Iran. I was looked with fear. Actually, when somebody asked me, where are you from? And I said, I am from Iran, he actually went one step back. He did that. And in one occasion, I was also called a terrorist. Well, show of hands, how many of you think I am a terrorist? You're lost. Anyways, but all of these happen because there are two sides to this story. Like a coin, it has a head and a tail. Yes, whether it's heads or tails, it's the same coin. But the problem is, many of you people in Taiwan and so many people in other countries have seen only one side. As for women, they have seen Iranian women in the news media as angry, black-wearing creatures that are so scary. What they didn't see was the other side. These are also Iranians. Both pictures are from Iran, but one shows an angry society with oppressed women that don't show even their face properly. Another side are actually happy women with fancy clothes and beautiful makeup. Or what you see in the news or what you will see when you search Iran on your laptop or your tablet are angry students or angry people who bear flags, who curse the imperialistic world, who keep saying down with America, down with Israel. What you do not see is the beautiful sights in this country. The picture you see is just one side in Iran, one out of so many different beautiful natural sights. Or what you see will be angry men who gather together rioting against the dictatorship of the capitalist world, which is not true. Yes, there are some riots, as there are riots everywhere. Right now in the United States of America, people are rioting against injustice towards black people, right? Black Lives Matters. In other countries, the same thing happens. In France, people riot against the rising prices in oil, in petroleum, right? So riots happen everywhere. But when you search Iran, what you see are angry riots against humanity. While you can also find happy people enjoying nature, going outside. This is a valley called Vashi near Tehran, which is quite beautiful, and it's always filled with happy people enjoying their day. What you see in the news from the Western media is people burning the streets, people burning motorcycles, burning houses, burning markets. What you don't see is the beautiful markets that are everywhere in Iran. This is the big market of Tajrish in Tehran, and it is just one of many beautiful markets that sells different forms of carpentry, forms of handmade crafts, artworks, and so many other things. Iran is not just an angry, violent, full of hatred place where everybody dies. Actually, there is no war happening in Iran. There is no attacks happening inside the borders of Iran. Nobody is actually being torn apart inside the country. What you can find in Iran is tasty, lovely cuisine. As you can see, all these you are seeing here, so beautiful, so delicious, are actually Iranian cuisine, Iranian food. What you see here is the other side of the story, the side that you were never being told, the side that makes you fear me, the side that makes you look at me in a different way, the side that makes you think I am a dangerous terrorist who will attack you any moment, at any chance I get. But to tell you the truth, that's not all Iran is about. That's not all any country is about. And Iran is not an exception. And that's the mistake people make. They only listen to one side of the story. And based on that side, they make their decisions. To sum it up, for the time being, Iran has two sides, like any other country. One side, which you've seen a lot in the news lately and in the Western media, it shows Iran as a flag burning, as a country full of flag burning fanatics, angry people who believe that the United States, Israel, Britain are our enemies, and we should riot against them, we should curse them, we should fight them, kill them, even. We fund terrorism. We earn money and pay for the terrorists in the Middle East to do their deeds. The bombs that explode everywhere by the terrorists are actually paid by Iran. That's another white lie you've been hearing about Iran, which actually never happened. Iran is not a terrorist country, and it does not support terrorism. Iran is actually a peace-loving country that actually believes in harmony, believes in the fact that we should all be together as one, united, with solidarity. You see Iran, when you search Iran, what you see are oppressed women. Women who are obligated to wear hijab, very confining black hijab that will limit their movements and their actions. But what actually happens is that that kind of operation does not exist. Right here, right now, there is an Iranian woman who is not obligated to wear hijab. My wife, Susan, you can see her right here wearing pink. As you can see, she's not wearing black and she's not oppressed. Or one thing, especially Israel keeps saying, is the fact that Iran cheats, has a cheating government that keeps lying, that keeps giving you false information. But that's also not true. Iran is one of the few countries in the world that has the biggest data bank on its people, which is public and everybody can access. Yes, Iran has a lot of problems. Iran has inflation, Iran has unemployment, Iran has volatility, Iran has the exchange rate and foreign currency crisis, Iran has debt, Iran has budget crisis, so many problems. So many problems. But all of those problems are public and you can easily find them in the official website of Iran's government. Something that so many other countries do not do. And the other side that you do not see in your daily searches in the news media from the West are the fine cuisine. Iran has the highest diversity of food anywhere in the world. In Iran, you can eat 3 times a day for 365 days without eating one food twice. And without finishing, even after 365 days, there is still more food you can try. You just have to try. You just have to see the other picture. You just have to look beyond the populism of Western media. Iran has so many beautiful sceneries. Actually, Iran is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. After India, after Italy. It has so many beautiful architecture. It has so many beautiful sites, natural sites as well as man-made sites, which actually so many people visit every year. Most of them are actually from the United States. The very same Americans that we all believe that are the enemy of Iran are actually the main people who visit Iran and are completely welcomed by Iranian people. One thing you never see in the Western media is that in some cities in Iran, during lunchtime and dinner time, the doors of the houses are open. I mean, you walk in the street and every house has an open door. And you can easily enter whichever you want. And they will serve you the very same food they themselves are eating. And they will always make more food than they themselves eat, just because of this fact that maybe a passenger, somebody who doesn't know anybody here, would be hungry and is passing by. That's the Iranian hospitality that you do not see in those angry pictures and angry videos that are shown every day in the Western media. It has so many energetic youngsters, just like you guys, taking naps in the classroom. The same happens in Iran. The same happens everywhere. And Iran is not an exception. Even though what you see in the news was the picture of those young people who are rioting. Yes, there are riots. Yes, sometimes youngsters go into the streets shouting, yelling at from the bottom of their lungs for what they believe in. But that happens everywhere. The United States has the same thing. Taiwan has the same thing, right? There are one more thing that people believe is that Iran is a Muslim country. Iran is a Muslim majority country. 98% of Iran's population are Muslim. Yes, that's true. But there are so many other religious minorities inside Iran which are free to follow their own beliefs. We have Jews, we have Christians, we have Zoroastrians. Besides Muslims, we have those. And they are completely free to follow their beliefs and the way they live their lives. Nobody comes to their homes, grabbing them by their hair and taking them to the court for being infidels. Contrary to what the movie Infidel actually shows. And that's a big problem for Iran and also for you guys. Because you are being fed a lie. Not exactly a lie, half of the truth. Yes, violence happens everywhere. Iran is no exception. Violence does happen in Iran. I myself was once beaten by a few people when I was in Iran. But that's just one side of the story. And not the big side, not the main side even. One more thing. Iranians are not Arab. Okay? I am not an Arab. I do not speak Arabic. I speak Arabic, okay, but I know Arabic because I learned Arabic. Arabic is not my mother tongue. My mother tongue is Farsi, which is much more different from Arabic. It's the language of poetry, the language of art, the language of life. And also, we have so many different groups of people inside Iran. We have Turks, Baluch, Bakhtiari, Gilaki, Mazani, Kurd, Lor, Lak. We have so many different tribes, like your indigenous people that live down south. We have the same thing in Iran. And they are also free to wear what they want to wear. Not that black, scary thing you saw. Yes, some people wear black. I am wearing black. Not because I'm forced to, because I want to, because I like to. As you can see, these women are also having a full hijab. You can see their hair, you can see their body, but they are wearing such a colorful attire. Iranian people are not sad and angry, they're actually happy. Do we have internet connection here? For instance, what I'm going to show you is one side of this happiness. After this, yeah, after the Uber Eats advertisement, of course. And the game advertisement, it's not Iranian, okay? This is also Iranian. And it's a very interesting, fun ceremony that happens at least once a month in Iran. Different places based on different sites. These people are from Tabriz, a city up north of Iran, northwest of Iran. And as you can see, they're wearing such a colorful attire. Okay, now I'm going to shut up so you could hear what they're saying.
Dito, parang takot na ako eh.